Hello everyone! As you can see, I'm still in repair mode after my convention weekend. My lights are still not set up again, and I have somehow deleted my overlay. So this video is not quite as polished as my recent offerings have been. But hey, that does mean I get to blow the images up a little bit larger for this video, and isn't that appropriate because San Diego Comic-Con dropped a ton of new releases on us, and lo and behold, most of them hadn't been leaked yet. So, good job, good job, good job, good job. I'm going to rescind that good job in a little bit, but for now, we're going to celebrate the fact that we got a whole bunch of stuff that we had never seen before. So, and we're going to start with the two-pack that has me the most excited out of everything. It is Optimus Prime, or as Orion Pax, and Alpha Trion in a Hero is Born multi-pack. This looks absolutely brilliant. We're looking at Studio Series Cup and Studio Series Scourge, heavily remolded in order to create two characters from those episodes. So, obviously, Cup as Orion Pax, we have brand new head sculpting, brand new torso sculpting, which is a level that we don't really get to see. I mean, it's not the first time Cup has been redone into Orion Pax, but it's definitely the first time they've gone this far to actually make it look like Orion Pax did in the show. And it's actually kind of clever using Cup this way because he does still have that dismantling gimmick, which means your Alpha Trion can actually repair said character. I'm also going to point out here that we're in close-ups. Alpha Trion is actually using both of the open hands from both Scourge and Sweeps. It's a small detail, but it's actually kind of cool. He's got a lot of heavy remolding too in the head and the torso. So the set itself also comes with Vector Sigma and the key to Vector Sigma 2, which I think is super cool. I don't think Hasbro has ever officially released Vector Sigma. So this is actually a really cool inclusion to make. I'm actually really, really happy to see that. All right, so yeah, and you can actually insert the key into Vector Sigma. That's perfect. Now, yeah, we're gonna take a look at the individual robots. Orion Pax looks fantastic. You know, looks like super. Obviously, the cup is still in there, but his design was very round in the original in the episode. So this kind of rounder mold that Cup has in Studio Series makes a lot of sense. It's a really, really good reuse of it. I guess the Energon goodie box is now a communication device, which is, I guess I guess it's whatever it has to be. I kind of figure it's weird that accessory gets left in. It's weird. It's weird. I'm not. Every time that thing shows back up, I'm like more reminded. Like I really just wish the gun was bigger. But it looks fine. It looks absolutely fine. I really do like how the toy turned out as Orion Pax. And then we get Alpha Trion. Now it's not the one from War Dawn. The Alpha Trion from War Dawn. You can actually see three stages of you can actually see three stages of Alpha Trion's lifespan from A3 in season 3's time travel episode, season 2's time travel episode, War Dawn, and then the more familiar Elder of the Autobots. So this is the more familiar Elder, and yeah, he still looks really, really good. Using all that shell from Scourge as the cape, really good call. So there is one thing about this that does not sit well with me. Like the robot looks fantastic. It's like definitely the best Alpha Trion toy we've gotten. It's the vehicle mode that bugs me because, yeah, it. I don't know why it looks like a sweep so much. Now, obviously, there's retooling here to make it look more like its own space shuttle, and I don't mind this alt mode for Alpha Trion. What I mind is the fact that it's still mostly blue and white. You know, or I guess what it's going to end up being like purple in white and white in person. But it's still frustrating because it just looks too much like a sweep. It looks like a sweep with some burgundy on top of it. which is disappointing. I really wish that they had done a little bit more on the deco. I really wish like it had just like gone heavy into the purple, and like all this white ended up being in the purple, because I don't know, it must share a mold with the hands and the biceps and the thighs. Like that's the only explanation. Those have to be those colors. So if that's the reasoning, okay, fine. But like, man, like it just looks way too much like a sweep in this mode. Oh well. When you're retooling, it's not going to be perfect, but it's the best job we've ever gotten out of Alpha Trion. And there's the alt mode for Orion Pax, which we never saw in the cartoon, so we can make up whatever we want. And Cup as a Cybertronian Orion Pax makes a really good amalgamation of like a Cybertronian semi-truck, but like weaker, you know? So yeah, this is a brilliant 2-pack. Absolutely love this. And also, I'm going to say, called it! Called it! I came up with this thing October 31st, Halloween on 2020, like just after the toy was announced. Obviously, like I had to work with the molding pattern of the original toy for this kit bash, and yeah, I wanted that backpack to be purple, as you can see. But yeah, I absolutely called this happening quite a while ago. I even made the gun gold because I was trying to get Vector Sigma and the key in there somehow. So even to that, I got you, Hasbro. Just wanted to point that out. So we also got a shot of DX3 Breaker, another Diaclone offering for Generation Selects. It's a blue trail breaker. I don't know what more I can say. Like, it's just trail breaker, but blue plastic instead of black. There's the truck where the deco is completely the same. Same tachographs. Now, granted, that's all it really has to do. That's all it really has to do in order to be the Diaclone version of the toy. It's not the most thrilling thing. The one credence you can give it is the fact that the windshields and the tires now stand out from the vehicle mode, but that's pretty much it. Outside of that, it's just meh. Not terribly interesting to me. The bulk of it was in the Legacy Wave 3 stuff that dropped, and this is where we got a lot of really, really nice things. So, we have a official image of Starscream's robot mode, and this time the thrusters are actually pointed forward correctly, so you can actually see the proper silhouette of Armada Starscream. I really am sick of people telling me that it's just an upscale of the thrilling 30 mole look. If you're doing that because the transformation is similar, then you got to go back all the way to G1 and realize that we're still making Optimus Primes that transform the same way as the original. Just because it uses the same transformation doesn't make it an upscale, doesn't make it a remold. It's a completely new thing with completely new engineering, and if you're paying attention, you'd know that. I digress. This thing still looks fantastic. Still could use a little bit more black on the underside of the torso, but beyond that, looks absolutely great. Again, I don't care about the sword wing because I'm of the opinion the sword wing was a neat trick, but a really terrible looking sword. So I'm perfectly fine with this. Now, you're going to notice something as I scroll through images on this, and we're going to point it out later on. As we go through things that we hadn't seen at all before. We have new Point Blank, and he's actually using his Japanese name Blanker. Probably because I don't know the phrasing Point Blank is might not be PC these days, or most likely it's just trademarked somewhere else. Doesn't matter. We got the character. That's what matters. He does look good. I like a lot of the different elements going into him. I'm not crazy about the midsection. This really, like this block torso just becoming this super narrow pelvis with no attempt at a waist. No attempt at a pelvic region. That looks super weird. That looks super, super weird. It looks like there's parts missing. It looks like it's not complete. That's a little bit frustrating. He also, Hasbro did point out that he is going to have his Target Master. They called it a Minicon, but I'm not saying. But I think that's just a catch-all term that the design team uses. But he is going to have his Target Master partner. Also, they went with, for some reason, they went with the Rebirth head on him rather than Toy or Headmaster accurate. Which is actually the head that was on Crosshairs. It's G1 Crosshair's head from his toy. There was like a weird like production swap for Rebirth. So it's weird that they went with that head. But this is Hasbro we're talking about. Given the opportunity, they're always going to lean toward the animation. Actually, that's incorrect. They usually lean toward the toy. So I genuinely don't know what they're going on here for. But yeah, also, if you haven't noticed by now, there's no alt mode pick. For whatever reason, Hasbro decided to give the leakers something to reveal and didn't include alt mode pictures for any of the new toys. It's the dumbest thing I've heard Hasbro do promotional wise. Is what's the point? I get the point. I get the point is that they're going to do a reveal later on that also includes the vehicle modes, and they're going to try and keep hype going a little bit more. But what you're doing is, like I said, you're just giving all the leakers who shouldn't be in control of your narrative, but they are, something to reveal, which is not cool. And yeah, it makes no sense here. It makes absolutely no sense, especially when characters, like Point Blank, have such a unique looking vehicle mode. We kind of want to see it. We kind of need to see it. Also, people are already speculating what else this is going to be someday. I've heard Armada Blur. Personally, if these shoulder pieces can rotate back, I feel like we can get a drift out of it. But you know what? We'll see. I think it's cool as it is. It's nice to see some Target Master love. And speaking of, well, no, this is a TriggerCon. This is a TriggerCon. So we got a new crankcase. My IDW Scavengers team is going to get one more member, and I'm super happy about that. This is apparently a retool of Skids, at least a partial one, and if it is, man, it is an impressive one. I can see the forearms. I can see that the forearms are very much the same. I can see some of the same engineering in the legs. But yeah, like to completely like remove the front of the vehicle mode here to come up with this, that's pretty impressive. That looks pretty good. And yeah, super cool that we're getting like we're so far down the line on what G1 characters haven't gotten new upgrades that we're at the trigger cons, which is pretty. So like expect like Windsweeper at some point. We're still like waiting on a Needle Nose, which they keep throwing into all the fan vote things, and it never wins. But yeah, he looks good. He looks really good. Way better than I would have ever thought a modern version of a Trigger Con would ever be. It's really cool how like they take characters that are super obscure, never appeared in the cartoon, and they will actually turn them on their heads and create these really super cool toys that you never thought they would ever get. I like how like even the obscure characters are getting proper treatment now. So again, we have no idea what the alt mode looks like, and I'd really like to see the alt mode because I really like to see how this thing works. Yeah, thanks Hasbro. We got Dead End, and Dead End does look fantastic. Hasbro told us that they worked really hard to get the vehicle mode right on this one. It'd be great if I could tell. It's missing something, isn't it? It just feels wrong. It feels wrong to scroll through this gallery of official images and go, I don't know what you turned into. You don't look like anything. But no, Dead End, we can pretty much imagine what the vehicle mode's going to look like. He looks really, really good. I can't remember where he goes on Motor Master, if he's the other one that splits down the arm or not. No, I think that's Wild Rider. I think Wild Rider forms the arm on Menasor. Oh well, whatever. He does look good, and I can see like I can see engineering in him that makes him a little bit more complex looking than I would expect for the character. So yeah, super cool. And I like the look of Dead End. So I'm happy with this so far. And let's see what else we got. We already looked at these thrown in. There's a few more, I believe. If we get by all of this. Oh yeah, of course there's a little bit more. We got the reveal for Dragon Megatron, Transmetal 2 Megatron. Absolutely beautiful looking. Yeah, like super cool. The head looks a little bit weird to me because they gave him sharp teeth, which looks a little bit odd. And I think the sculpt isn't quite to the animation model. I think they went heavier into how the toy looked. But beyond that, yeah, like this is doing some things. This is doing some cool things. So the neck is completely articulated. It's not rubbery like the original one. You can actually pose the neck now, and I presume you can pose the tail as well. The wings are fully, you can fully like spread the wings out, like they are like there's like 4 panels to each wing. So like this is just them completely folded up. Um, he's a lot cleaner than the original, so he's a little bit closer to the animation. Like he doesn't have that like weird shield thing that was part of his beast mode bulk in the original toy. And you can see where they've actually used the dragon mode hands to form those claws on his chest. I think this looks absolutely fantastic. Alt mode picks would be nice. Also, like I'm happy that like there's definitely like less of it here than you typically expect on a Transmetal 2, but he does have asymmetrical elements. You can see slightly different angles to those hooks on the tops of his wings. His kneecaps, you'll notice, are different shapes. Yeah, so he's got some asymmetry going on to really push the Transmetal 2 part of him. And guess what? No chrome. No chrome. And you know, of all the things that I've seen people complaining about, oh, he looks too boxy, oh, he looks too scrawny, whatever. I haven't heard one person complain about the lack of Transmetal on him. You know what? And you know, if this gets people excited and this does well, and we don't have to think at all about chrome on a modern Transmetal, that just lets Hasbro open up the floodgates to actual new Transmetal toys, which I would be absolutely down for. They showed off Inferno too, but Inferno's already been revealed. They noted they worked really hard to get his animation colors correct on this one. And I compared to the first images we saw of him, I do like how he looks here. The red looks a little bit more vivid here, a little bit more what I would expect. And here's another big one. Here's another big one. So we knew there was a listing for a Skullgrin, and we were all wondering how they were going to handle the Pretender design. So what they've done is that they've created an amalgamation of the shell and the inner robot. So you're kind of splitting the gap between the two. I would have rather it stuck much closer to how the shell looked, because I think that's the more prominent mode. That's the one you're more familiar with seeing. I understand, like, got to get the robot in there somehow, and okay, if you got to get in, you do, and that's fine. I guess at the end of the day, you know, those bone elements are what I associate with that design, and to have it on this, which is basically a much chunkier, blockier version of his original inner robot, that's fine. That's fine. You know, I'd have preferred it one way, but I don't think it looks bad this way. Let's put it like that. It's certainly a unique aesthetic to have like this super chunk robot with just like this big demon skull sitting on top. It's a very different look for Skullgrin, ironically, even though he does look quite a bit like his original self. So that's the last of those images. Now, as I said, the alt mode pictures evade us still. However, a few people did get their hands on them. We can actually look at the Skullgrin. We can actually look at Skullgrin's alt mode, and it's a brick. It's just a brick. So it's not trying to emulate the original tank mode at all. It's just a brick. He just kind of collapses in on himself, and he has a turret on top, and that's pretty much your lot. I'm not a fan of that. I'm really not. That alt mode does kind of kill my enthusiasm for this one, which is a shame because I do think it's a unique way of like representing the Pretenders, but it's just not right. It just, of all the things you could have done to create like a super cool alt mode, of all the things you could do in order to make the alt mode look super unique and original, I was imagining like something that looked akin to the original G1 tank, but with that demon skull like right at front, like it looks like some like crazy post-apocalyptic vehicle. It's just a block. The most interesting thing this thing is doing is hiding the demon skull. That's the most interesting thing about the transformation here. I hope it at least plays well. Let's put it that way. The alt mode disappoints me to the point where I'm really just kind of hoping it plays well. I hope the transformation's at least interesting, because getting it to and from is going to be most of the fun here. The tank mode is not fun, not for me. I mean, if you like it, you like it. This is just me spouting my opinion, but I really wish they did more. I really wish they had done more with it. On the upside, we saw Dragon Megatron as well, and his alt mode looks way, way better. It does have a little bit of weirdness around the neck, but I might chalk that up to mistransformation. We'll see. But I do really love how this turned out. So it looks, I'm trying to parse it because here's the robot mode up here. It's a little bit blurry, but we see it. And I'm trying to parse this a little bit. We've got a completely new torso that has appeared for this mode in order to make it look closer to the original alt mode. The dragon arms pretty scrawny, but that's fine. They're dragon arms. I'm not expecting, they were pretty small in the original too. The legs don't just crumble up on each other. There's actual like a digitigrade joint in there now that you can fold out. So the legs actually have some legs have some purchase now. The tail, we can't really see the tail in any of these shots. You can see how posable the dragon neck is, though. I think that's the important part. And because of the lighting here, you can see a lot more of the texture work on the wings. The wings do look symmetrical. At least like all the panels. There are actually 5 panels. I correct myself from earlier. But still, I really like what it's doing. I really like the look of it. I'm a sucker for a transforming dragon, and this was one of the first ones I ever had. Because I think it was the first one, now that I think of it. So yeah, this is definitely the most exciting thing to come out of it. Oh, and he gets a flame accessory, too. So, I think that is going to do it. That's all the releases we got, and that's all the alt modes we got, but it's super cool stuff. Like, there's a couple things there where, like, I wish they'd done this better, but for the most part, I'm really, really happy with what I'm seeing. I wish I could see the other half of all the toys we just talked about, but at this point, it's just Hasbro being weird. But thank you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments below, which one are you looking forward to the most? Who looks the best out of the batch? And remember, like, it's all opinion here. All right, so everyone's opinion on which one is good and which one is bad is completely valid. All right, so, yeah. I'm really looking forward to a lot of this. I'm looking forward to getting better looks at all of the others because, man, Legacy is doing some really cool things. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.